information on Instagram. But the big thing that you've really been up to is the Afterburn podcast.
Yeah.
I have to say it's a natural transition because I'm sure Chris will agree with me. You have an awesome voice. You have a great setup too. I think you have the best voice of anyone we've had on before. So
you got that Barry White Quiet Storm voice, dude. I always think
he does. It makes sense that that's what you're doing. So how did the podcast come to be? I see that it's become really successful, and for people who want to check it out, get into what you're doing with Afterburn.
Well, I mean, I appreciate the kind words. There's obviously a lot more guys with a lot more experience than me. I just got a little fraction of it.
But you have the voice.
Yeah. It's practicing the radio voice. That's the main thing. You got to sound cool on the radio. I had this sidebar, and I'll tell it. I'm good at sidebars.
We are too. So.
One of my first, so I was a T6 instructor. I was brand new. I was a lieutenant. I came back. Essentially like one of my first students that was assigned to me. We're out flying, and we went to an airfield that was further out we normally don't go to, but we had to go there. And so we're coming back, and then, T6 is, essentially brand new. There's like no problems, like no big issues or known issues. You're always worried about the engine quitting, but that's about it. So coming back, I see the fuel flow just starts jumping around. Well, fuel flow jumping around is not a good thing, especially in a jet, let alone one that only has one engine. So we start climbing to get on profile to come back and land. So undoubtedly best landing of my life, yada, yada, yada. We get on the ground safely. But my student, at the end, we're debriefing, like, what was the most important thing you learned in that whole experience? And he goes, well, always have a plan. I said, no. He's like, you got to sound cool on the radio, because if you don't make it, that recording is going to be played in front of thousands of people for eternity. And that's how you're going to be remembered. So you got to sound cool to the point of impact. You better sound cool.